Every single day, you are doing something that makes your dog's anxiety worse. Not on purpose. Not because you do not care. Because the moment your dog shows fear, everything your instinct tells you to do, the soothing voice, the long strokes, the picking them up, the hovering, is the exact opposite of what their nervous system actually needs. And the worst part is that it compounds. Every time you respond to anxiety the wrong way, you are not just failing to help. You are teaching your dog that the anxious state is the correct response to that situation. You are confirming the fear. You are making it bigger. Most owners spend years doing this without ever understanding why their dog keeps getting worse despite all the love and effort they are pouring in. By the time this video ends, you will understand exactly what is happening inside your dog's brain, why your instincts are working against you, and the step-by-step system that actually reverses anxiety instead of feeding it. Welcome to PAW'S Mind. If you are new here, subscribe right now because this is the channel that goes beneath the behavior to explain what is actually happening inside your dog, so everything you do from here forward actually helps. Before the system, you need to understand one thing, because without it, none of the steps will make sense and you will keep reverting to instinct the moment things get hard. Your dog's anxiety is not a personality flaw. It is not stubbornness. It is not something they will grow out of on their own. It is a nervous system that has learned, through repetition, that certain triggers are genuinely dangerous. The fear response your dog shows, the trembling, the panting, the pacing, the hiding, the barking at nothing. That is not drama. That is a brain running a survival program that has been reinforced over time. Here is what most owners do not understand about that program. When your dog is anxious and you rush to comfort them, soft voice, long strokes, holding them close, you are doing something that feels like love. To your dog's nervous system, it registers as confirmation. You are the most important being in your dog's world. You are the one who reads every situation and decides whether it is safe. When you respond to a trigger with urgency and heightened attention, your dog does not hear you are okay. Your dog hears something is happening that requires a response from the pack leader. The anxiety spikes. A study published in the journal Applied Animal Behavior Science found that dogs whose owners responded to fear behaviors with high levels of physical comfort and reassurance showed significantly slower habituation to the fear trigger compared to dogs whose owners maintained calm, neutral body language. The dogs with the most loving, attentive owners were the most anxious dogs over time. Not because the owners loved them wrong, because the owners never understood what their comfort was communicating. Your dog is not looking for a hug when they are afraid. They are looking at you to find out whether they should be afraid. And the moment you act like they should be, the case is closed. This is the foundation. Everything in the system that follows is built on it. There are 5 components. Do them in order. Do not skip to component 3 because it sounds easier. The sequence matters. Component 1. Establish the baseline state before you do anything else. Before you can reduce anxiety, you need to know what calm actually looks like for your specific dog. This sounds obvious. Most owners skip it entirely. Anxious dogs have elevated baselines. Their resting heart rate is higher. Their muscles carry chronic tension. Their threshold for reacting is lower than a non-anxious dog. What looks like rest for a high-anxiety dog would look like low-level stress in a dog with a healthy nervous system. Your first job is to spend 3 to 5 days doing nothing except observing and documenting. Watch your dog during the times of day when they are most settled. What does their body look like? Are their muscles soft? Is their breathing slow and even? Are their eyes soft and blinking? Is their tail carried neutrally? Are they able to lie flat on their side with legs extended? These are the physiological markers of genuine rest. Write them down or keep a mental note, because these are the baseline you are trying to restore and eventually expand. During this observation phase, you are also mapping the triggers. What specifically elevates your dog? Is it sound-based, thunder, fireworks, traffic, the vacuum? Is it social, strangers, other dogs, unfamiliar people in the house? Is it environmental, car rides, the vet, being left alone? Is it situational, a specific time of day, a specific room, a specific sequence of events like you picking up your keys? Identify the top 2 or 3 triggers. You are not going to fix all of them at once. You are going to work on them one at a time in order of intensity, starting with the mildest. Trying to address everything simultaneously is one of the most common reasons anxiety training fails. The nervous system cannot process multiple desensitization programs at once. Start small. Start where there is room to win. Component 2. Recode your own response first. This component is the hardest one on this list. And it is the one most owners resist because it feels like abandoning their dog. From this point forward, when your dog is in an anxious state, your body language, your voice, and your movement must communicate one thing and one thing only. This is not interesting. There is nothing here. Not punishment. Not distance. Not coldness. Neutrality. Here is what neutrality looks like in practice. Your body is relaxed. Your shoulders are down. Your jaw is soft. If you are standing, your weight is distributed evenly. You are not leaning toward your dog. You are not leaning away. You are simply present, without urgency, without heightened attention. Your voice, if you use it at all, is low and even. Not the high-pitched soothing tone most owners default to. That tone signals emotion, and emotion signals to your dog that the situation warrants an emotional response. If you speak the way you would speak about something completely mundane. The same voice you would use to tell someone the time. You do not hover. You do not follow your dog around checking on them. You move through the space calmly, attending to your own business, communicating through your movement that this environment is safe and that you are not concerned. This is the hardest thing you will do in this entire process because it runs directly against every loving instinct you have. But it is the most important single shift you will make. Because from the moment you stop confirming the fear with your attention and your urgency, you begin to become the thing that neutralizes it. Give yourself 2 weeks to practice this before you expect to see a result. Your dog has been reading your comfort response as a signal for months or years. It takes repetition to recode the association. Component 3. Systematic desensitization. Done in the right order. Systematic desensitization is the process of exposing your dog to the thing that frightens them at an intensity so low that no fear response is triggered, and then, over dozens and eventually hundreds of repetitions, gradually increasing the intensity while keeping the dog below the threshold of reaction. The key word in that sentence is below. Most owners try to desensitize their dog by exposing them to the full trigger at full intensity and waiting for the dog to calm down. That is flooding, not desensitization, and it does not produce the result they are looking for. Produces a dog that learns to tolerate terror, not a dog that loses the fear. Here is how to do it correctly. Take your top trigger. Let us use sound as the example, a common one. Your dog is afraid of thunderstorms. Step 1. Find a recording of thunder. Play it at a volume so low that your dog shows no reaction at all. Not a head turn. Not an ear flick. Nothing. If your dog reacts at any volume, the volume is too high. Drop it lower. At that non-reactive volume, play the sound for 30 seconds while you go about your normal business, completely neutral, and then stop. Do nothing in response to the sound. Do not reward. Do not soothe. Simply exist normally during it and after it. Repeat this exact session, same volume, same duration, once or twice a day for 3 to 5 days until your dog is completely indifferent to the sound at that volume. Then, and only then, increase the volume by the smallest increment possible and repeat the process. This takes weeks. For some dogs with deep-seated fear responses, it takes months. Owners who move too fast undo everything and have to start over. Owners who stay patient produce dogs who genuinely lose the fear rather than learning to endure it. Research published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior confirmed that graduated, subthreshold desensitization protocols produce durable fear reduction at 12-week follow-up, while flooding and rapid exposure protocols produced short-term tolerance but significantly higher relapse rates. The slow road is the fast road. One more critical detail. During any desensitization session, if your dog reacts, the session is over. Do not try to push through. Do not comfort. Simply end the session neutrally and make a note that you moved too fast. Drop back one step at the next session and rebuild from there. Component 4. Counterconditioning, layered on top of desensitization. Once your dog is consistently showing no reaction at a given intensity level of the trigger, you add the counterconditioning layer. Counterconditioning means you are changing the emotional association your dog has with the trigger, not just lowering the reaction, but actively replacing the fear response with a positive one. Here is how it works in practice. You have your dog at a comfortable distance from or exposure to their trigger. The moment the trigger appears, the sound plays, the stranger walks past, the car starts. You deliver something your dog finds genuinely valuable. Real meat, cheese, chicken, something they would, as the real scripts put it, sell you out for. The trigger appears. Good thing happens. Trigger disappears. Good thing stops. Repeat this hundreds of times across weeks, and something changes. The trigger stops predicting danger. It starts predicting the good thing. Your dog's brain begins to run a new association. That sound means chicken is coming. That stranger means cheese appears. That car starting means something I love is about to happen. The technical name for this is classical counterconditioning, and it is one of the most robustly supported interventions in behavioral science. Researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna found that dogs treated with counterconditioning protocols showed measurable changes in physiological fear markers, heart rate, cortisol, within 8 to 12 sessions when the conditioning was applied consistently at subthreshold exposure levels. The sequence is non-negotiable. Desensitization first, counterconditioning layered on top. If you try to countercondition a dog who is already over threshold, already reacting, the food has no value in that state. Their arousal is too high to process reward. You are wasting the session and potentially creating a negative association with the food itself. Below threshold first. Always. Component 5. Build the confidence architecture. This is the step most owners skip entirely. They focus on removing the fear response and forget to build what replaces it. An anxious dog is not just a frightened dog. An anxious dog is a dog who has not learned that they are capable of navigating the world. They have not built a track record of successful encounters with the things that scare them. Every avoided trigger, every time you cross the street to avoid another dog, every time you turn the vacuum off because your dog was upset, has added one more entry to a mental record that says, I cannot handle this. You are going to reverse that record deliberately. This is called confidence building, and it happens through 3 consistent practices. First, structured problem solving. Every day, give your dog a task that requires them to work for something they want. Puzzle feeder at mealtime. A sniff game where you hide small pieces of food around the house or yard and release them to find it. A training session of 5 to 10 minutes where they learn one new behavior and succeed at it repeatedly. These are not enrichment bonuses. They are neurological deposits into a confidence account. Every successful problem solved tells your dog's brain, I encountered a challenge and I handled it. That message, accumulated over weeks, raises the threshold at which the nervous system decides something is threatening. Second, new environments introduced slowly. An anxious dog who lives in one predictable environment and never encounters novelty becomes more fragile, not less. Their nervous system loses practice with flexibility. Take your dog somewhere new once a week. A different street, a different park, a different parking lot. Keep it brief. Keep it below the threshold of overwhelm. Keep your own body language neutral and calm. Let them sniff, observe, and leave on a good note. The message is, new things exist and we navigate them and nothing bad happens. Third, the success log. This one is for you as much as for your dog. Keep a simple record. A note in your phone is enough, of every session that ends well, every trigger that produced no reaction, every small moment of calm in a previously difficult situation. Anxiety training is slow and non-linear. There will be weeks where regression feels total. The log is what shows you that the direction is still forward even when the most recent week looks like a step back. Regression is not failure. It is part of the process. The trainers who get dogs through to the other side are the ones who know this and do not quit when the hard week arrives. Situation 1. Your dog's anxiety is severe enough that training alone is not creating progress. Some dogs have anxiety that is neurological in origin, a nervous system that is independent of their history, wired toward heightened threat detection. In these dogs, behavioral work alone may produce limited results because the underlying physiology is working against every session. If you have followed this system consistently for 6 to 8 weeks and are seeing minimal change, speak to your veterinarian about whether a short-term or long-term medication protocol might support the training. Medication in these cases does not replace the behavioral work. It lowers the baseline arousal enough that the behavioral work can actually reach the dog. The research on combined pharmacological and behavioral intervention for canine anxiety is consistent. Outcomes are significantly better than either approach alone. This is not failure. This is reading the dog in front of you and giving them the full set of tools they need. Situation 2. Progress stalls or reverses after weeks of improvement. Regression during anxiety training is normal and expected. A single bad experience with a trigger, an unexpected full-intensity exposure during a training break, a stressful event during a vulnerable period, can temporarily undo weeks of conditioning. Do not interpret this as the training not working. Interpret it as the nervous system needing more reps at an easier level before it can hold the progress under pressure. Drop back 2 steps in your desensitization protocol. Shorten sessions. Increase the value of the reward. Rebuild the subthreshold associations and move forward again. The second time through moves faster than the first. Situation 3. Other people in the household are not following the system. This is the single most common reason anxiety training stalls. One person in the house maintains the neutral response and calm presence the system requires. Another person scoops the dog up the moment they look worried, talks to them in the high-pitched soothing voice, or avoids triggers entirely rather than working through them. The nervous system learns from every interaction. A dog who gets correct responses from you and confirming responses from someone else learns that anxiety sometimes produces the comfort flood and therefore keeps running the anxiety program to find out which response is coming today. Everyone who lives with or regularly handles the dog needs to understand and apply the same approach. Walk through the core principles with them. Explain what the soothing voice communicates to a dog's nervous system. Show them what neutral looks and sounds like in practice. The system only works if it is consistent across every person the dog encounters regularly. Week 1. Nothing looks like progress. Your dog is still reacting. You are still actively fighting the instinct to soothe. The sessions are short and you are ending them before you wanted to. This is working correctly. You are gathering information, establishing the baseline, and beginning to recode your own response patterns. Stay with it. Weeks 2 and 3, you begin to notice the threshold. There are specific conditions, a certain distance from the trigger, a certain volume, where your dog is consistently not reacting. Those moments of non-reaction are the beginning of everything. Mark them in your log. Build from them. Week 4. The desensitization starts to hold. Your dog is moving through previously difficult situations at lower intensities without the physical fear markers you documented at the start. Their resting state during non-trigger times begins to shift. The baseline is dropping. Weeks 6 to 8. You are seeing the first real behavioral shifts. The dog who used to hide at the sound of thunder is lying calmly on their bed at a volume that 3 weeks ago would have sent them under the couch. The dog who lunged at strangers on walks is holding position and looking back at you instead of locking in. The confidence architecture is showing up in how they carry themselves. This is not a dog that tolerates their triggers. This is a dog whose nervous system has been taught a new truth. The world is navigable. And you are the one who proved it to them. Most owners spend years trying to love their dog's anxiety away, holding them through it, talking them through it, removing every possible source of discomfort from their path. And the dog stays anxious, not because they were not loved, because love delivered without understanding was teaching them the wrong lesson every time. You now understand what their fear response is actually communicating, what your comfort response has been communicating back, and how to replace that loop with something that actually helps. Your dog has been waiting for someone to show them that the world is safe. Not tell them, show them. Through calm. Through consistency. Through the slow, patient proof of 100 sessions where the scary thing appeared and nothing terrible followed. That is what you are building now. And the dog that comes out the other side of this system is not the dog who learned to endure. It is the dog who stopped needing to. So the next time your dog trembles at the sound outside or freezes at the sight of a stranger, know what you are actually seeing. You are seeing a nervous system that has not yet learned what you are about to teach it. And now you know exactly how to begin. If this changed the way you understand what your dog is experiencing, share it with someone whose dog is struggling, because most of them have been trying to help for years without ever knowing this is where to start. Subscribe to PAW'S Mind. Every week we go this deep into what is actually happening inside your dog, because they deserve an owner who understands them at this level. And before you go, if your dog follows you from room to room, even when nothing is happening, even when you are just walking to the kitchen and back, there is a reason behind that behavior that goes far deeper than habit. That video is next. Take care of them,